Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lucy and Maxine, because we don't know what we're calling it anymore. This is Barefaced Lucy and that's Barefaced Maxine. We decided today that we were going to rock up. In fact, I've got a funny story to tell you. We decided today that we're going to rock up and we are going to literally live our truth, because I particularly am promoting everybody living their truth and standing in their sovereignty and sharing what they're feeling and all the rest of it. So here I am, bare skinned. I did wash my hair today. I feel very proud of myself. I did wash my hair, but I'm leaving my skin bare. I'm enjoying it. I'm embracing it. Anyway, bit of a funny story to kickstart us. So I did an Instagram live today for the first time in a week. I took a week off of Instagram in the hope that censorship would be gone, in the hope that, I would have interaction again and things would just go back to normal. And not so sure that that's going to happen. Anyway, I did this live this morning and everyone's like, oh, it's so good to see you back. I'm so pleased you're back. And a woman put Botox, question mark. Now, for those of you who have followed me for some time, you will know my mum once told me I needed Botox. Now, as you can see from my head, I've never had Botox. These lines have cost me a fortune. Lots of holidays, lots of laughing, lots of partying. They cost me a fortune. So I am not going to now go and get them jabbed and gone. First and foremost, it doesn't align with my values. Anything poisonous going in my body does not align with my values. Number two, they've cost me a lot of money and I'm not going to lose them. I think they add to my character, for want of better words. Anyway, what was so funny? So I read this. I actually spat my water out. I drank it and spat my water out because I found it hilarious. So I went back to the lady and I was like, are you suggesting I need Botox? Or are you asking if I've had it? And she was like, fuck, wrong video. Whether it was the wrong video or not, who freaking knows? And to be honest with you, who freaking cares? It made my morning this morning. It really, really, really did. So that's the kind of world that we're living in right now. People are worrying about Botox more than what's going on around the world, which is all good. So just on that point, I think it's very, very, very important that we all do stand in our truth. And I also feel at the moment, there is a lot of people having reactions. So some people would have been like, who the heck do you think you're talking to, or anything like that, at a comment like that? Because let's be real, ladies, we take offense, don't we, normally? And I'm just so comfortable in my skin. I know what I'm here to do, that I don't need to have a reaction over that. And this is why I asked the questions, to be able to have a conversation with her and obviously be able to articulate where I'm at normally and rationally, and just, maybe suggest she doesn't do it on anybody else's page. But the day and age that we're living in right now, and I'd love your perspective on this, Maxine, is that people are asking questions and they're having their head bitten off if it doesn't, the question that they're asking is almost thought-provoking away from their belief system. I'm seeing it constantly at the moment, particularly last night. Obviously there was the rally in Alabama. I'm not going to mention his name because who knows if that's still a hot list or not, but there was a rally in Alabama and he was speaking a lot about this, and people have literally been losing their marbles on it today. And I've seen many people asking questions and people have been losing their marbles on it. So Maxine, first and foremost, have you, lovely to see you first and foremost, that's probably the most polite thing to say, but my second question to you is, have you seen that happening recently? Have you really started to see how quick people's reactions are?
Yeah, totally. So in the two Telegram groups I'm in, that I speak in, obviously last week there was something else. Oh, they were talking about the rally coming up.
Right.
We got a few people in there saying, oh, don't pin your hopes on it, but not in a nice way.
Yeah.
In quite a nasty way. Well, they got ignored. But then straight after, Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, the phone's pinging. So I knew the messages were coming through. And people were angry at what they'd heard at the rally.
Yeah.
So, and instead of sort of saying, oh, what do you think? They just gave their opinion, full stop.
Yeah.
Other people putting, not sure I heard it right, but what's your thoughts on it? They were fine. We had conversation with those because they asked a question. But the people that were jumping back at them was, what do you mean? What do I think of it? Well, you're not listening. Clean your ears out. All stuff like that. I thought, right, well, I'll scroll past those. I'm not talking to any of those. And then this other, we've got a sideline from that group, which is the chat group. And in there, people were saying, why are people so nasty?
Exactly.
If you don't like what you're hearing, switch it off. And the main word was nasty, which I haven't heard that word for quite a while. And then this guy came on and said, look, we all hear different things. And it's like, I hear certain words you say, I know to remember them, put them in my journal. Yeah. I might not hear the whole sentence, but I know the bits I need to hear. So if I'd have watched his rally, which I've watched quite a few of them, I hear different to other people because I'm in a different frame of mind. Yeah. But it's like all of a sudden, it's like they were all relying on this so much. And when he didn't say what they thought he was going to say, they all got vicious. Yeah. And so instead of saying to someone, what do you think? And then come back saying, oh, I'm slightly confused, or, oh, I was expecting more. It's like, well, he didn't say it. He never said it. What a waste of time. Yeah. Straight on them. Yeah. There's no discussion.
Yeah, and I'm noticing that it's happening more and more in day-to-day life. And
Facebook's a terrible one at the minute for it.
And maybe that's why I'm noticing it more and more, because I'm obviously back on Facebook now, and I was off it for 7 months. And I've got to be honest, it was a really, really beautiful, quiet, pleasant 7 months. And I was doing Instagram lives every single day, as you know, but it was just a different... It's just a different playing field there, because on Facebook,
totally different.
It's very much community based, isn't it? Everybody can comment their things and they can like things and share things, and you know, it's a totally different framework. However, I really do feel that this is the way that it is in life at the moment. People are reacting, and what the majority, I'm going to say the majority, whether it is the majority or not, I'm not sure, but they are creating their reality based on their reactions.
Yeah.
So
that's
for
exactly
me,
it.
I'll read something and I'll be like, I don't know enough about that. And that's what happened. The message that I sent you just as we started this video, I read that this morning, and I this is the process I went through. That seems a bit weird. I don't know enough about it. Who can I ask to get more information for me to be able to process it? I'm not taking it on. It's not my stuff. I'm not attached to it. I just need further information, please. And I went out to 2 separate people. Some people lost their shit, and the other people have completely articulated exactly, you know, might be what I agree with or I don't agree with, but they've articulated in a way that Lucy Human can process it and comprehend it. I've never lived through a war. I'm not even going to profess that I know what goes in a war. You know, I know there's many, many mind games. I know there's all this psychological stuff. I know that there's always this physical stuff. I know, like I know that because of what I've been taught. But at the moment, we are being shown to question everything that we're being shown and taught.
But so this war, if we're in the middle of a war, it's totally different to any war we've had before.
Exactly.
Because there's too many prongs to it. It's like a 50p piece. They're coming out of everywhere in so many different ways that even if you understood war, there's too many different things going on. So yes, we should ask questions, but it's like you said, you sort of looked at it and thought, well, that's a bit weird, but you didn't go, well, that's crap.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just asked people.
Exactly.
I'm a little, it's a bit out of my depth, you know, I don't really understand the process of this. And people then should come back and say, oh, I tell you what, this is how it is, which is what I've got in one of my groups. It's a lovely guy. But it was the same on Telegram yesterday. Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, well, you're a bit thick then.
And
a bit thick.
What's interesting is I'm finding the people that are reacting are people that are really, really, like, they obviously cannot see anything other than their view. I'm at a point right now, I get why people are taking this. Like, I get it. I'm not going to do it personally, but I get it. And if you can't, like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, if we can't appreciate where each other's at, then are you really ascending? Like, are you really becoming conscious?
Yeah.
Or are you just awake to the truth, because they're 2 totally different things?
Well, I'm the same, because obviously I've got a lot of elderly come into the shop and they've had it and they're proud they've had it, because that's how their mindset's been all this time.
Doing their bit.
They don't know what I know. And to be fair, I don't want to frighten them by telling them.
No.
So they're in a happy state of peace that they've had that.
Yeah.
I send them so much love, because I don't want them to get ill. I don't want them to be the statistic.
And you know,
but that's their choice, and I still love them for it.
Yeah, and do you know what?
What I won't get is somebody saying to me, how dare you come in here when you've not had that? Yeah. That's wrong.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know what, Maxine? What I'm finding very much is the older generation, they were always taught to do things for other people. Whereas probably the generation just below me, you know, like, I'm massive out there on self-love, do it for self. You know, you are allowed to make your own choices, you know, even if none of your family like it, you can make your own choices, you can live your own truth. Like, I'm very much like that, but I believe the generations underneath have that a lot more instilled in them, and that's why we're seeing this difference, you know, between the generations, and who's willingly taking it against who's putting up a bit of a fight.
But it's like you're saying, you've promoted, you know, this self, because, you know, if you're not looking after yourself, how do you, you know, how would you feel? Because if you don't wake up in the morning and absolutely love people, then you need to look at why.
Yeah.
Because if somebody came, I mean, before, when this all started, I must admit, I did go into slight panic mode with the whole thing, because I could see people I really cared about having it. But I then had to look and go, right, as long as I still wake up feeling that I still love these people, then there is no problem.
Yeah.
Because I can't save them all.
No.
I can guide them with my thoughts, but I can't save them, but I can still love them.
I think,
and that's the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And quite frankly, who says that we're right?
Yeah.
You know, I was like you at the beginning. I was like, please don't take it, please don't take it. I'm really projecting my stuff. But where did it get us? Nowhere. It just made us.
I know.
Now I'm like, no, I have made the right choice for me. I love the people around me, and I will support their choices, whatever it may be. I might not like it.
Yeah, same as me. I don't like it. I don't, and for any of them, I don't like it, because I still know what my truth is.
Right. Exactly.
And I do, but I used to fear for them and worry about them, and I've had to stop doing that. Yeah. And just every time I see them, tell them I love them, basically.
And this is what I do. So I'm actually going down to see my mum next week. And I was explaining to Maxine off air before, I'm supposed to be, and I'd really appreciate everybody's fingers, legs, toes, hair, everything crossed until next Friday, the 3rd of September. I'm supposed to be moving into my new apartment on that date. This is the 3rd.
And we need that apartment. We desperately need that apartment, even if it's for a few months.
This is the 3rd one I've attempted to move into this year. So I would really appreciate your support in holding space to ensure that I actually get in there. Anyway, I've gone off on a complete tangent. I've forgotten where I was going with that. What were we talking about?
Going to your mum's.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to my mum's next week for a couple of days. Now, as you all know, my mum is double. She's double dropped. So is my stepdad. So I'm going to be in a house with 2 people that have double dropped. Okay, so I'll probably get banned now for talking drug language. Do you get what I mean? And I'll be like, what on earth is this woman? Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to be in a house with 2 people that have been double dropped, completely off their box. But I love these people. I love these people so much. And I don't know if they're going to be here in 5 years' time or 10 years' time. So I'm going to love them, and I'm going to spend as much time as possible with them and have the most beautiful, connected conversations with them until the point is where I'm not here anymore or they're not here anymore. So I'm not going to judge them for their choices. You know, thankfully they had them quite a long time ago now. So that shedding and everything else that we obviously got into the consciousness, or we've got the awareness on.
I have noticed that has waned now. For me, I think because I was exposed to it quite a lot, obviously with being in the shop, I did see slight symptoms, but I haven't had anything since.
Don't forget the boosters are coming next month, so it'll start.
Yeah, I might have to take a month off and go and stay in your apartment then.
It's fine.
We'll do the book then.
And yeah, we can do the book. We can definitely do the book, Max. Honestly, it would be so cool. But yeah, I do, and we've got to bring that up. And you know, I spoke about Australia yesterday on my Sunday service, and I'll link it back into this video now, just so that you guys can look back and watch it. I did speak about Australia a lot at the beginning of that Sunday service. The reason being, Australia is in serious panic mode right now. Like it seems extremely extreme. However, remember how it was here when they were trying to build the fear for everybody to take it. And if you actually look at it with a very objective mind, now you know a lot of my loved ones are in Sydney. A lot of my loved ones, watching what they're going through is breaking my heart. However, we had that. We had that. We had the threat of military going around houses. We had the threat of all of that stuff. And we're literally watching it from across the way. We just didn't show as openly the challenges that people had at the protests and things like that. So, you know, I'm not saying I'll get on with it, like man the heck up. I'm not saying that. I'm saying my heart is with you guys. We are literally watching them go through everything that we went through. And the reason I'm saying that is I've spoken to two very influential people in Australia and said, look, you will have the booster coming. You will have the booster coming at the start of your next winter, which for them will be April time. You will have to deal with this. You are going to have the third one coming in. And they were like, what, the third one? It's almost like they haven't even heard of that over there.
Yeah.
Whereas here, we know, I mean, France's passports have got 8 spaces in. Yeah. So they're obviously expecting at least 8.
But didn't they change? They changed this one. See, they're messing with the narrative now on this one booster. So originally it was the media. Yeah. So originally everyone could have one who's already had that. Yeah. It was all going to be fine. Now they've changed it to only vulnerable people over the age of 60.
Oh, so they're really chasing that group again.
Yeah, and what they're saying is that there won't be enough. And did they say, because there's 3 different outlets I watched. So yeah, over 60, only extremely vulnerable people. So anyone, this was the best thing, anyone with a heart disease or a breathing disorder will get the first booster.
Wow, that's both of my. Wow.
Now the first thing I suffered with this was the breathing.
Yeah, me too.
So I won't want to go and put that in.
No.
So you know, but that's obviously my views.
But what they're saying, this one is going to have the flu included in it.
And now what they're saying is this one, the one they originally were going to give us, was just the C.
Yeah.
The reason they're going to only give that to the extremely vulnerable is because they're going to add that in to the flu one end of October, beginning of November, when the flu thing comes out. So there's going to be 2. So and then they said, the last one I heard, which a friend sent me, was you've got to have had, there's got to be 6 months between you having your second and your booster.
Wow, okay.
So anyone who's recently had it won't get that one until after Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah, but you see, they're changing the narrative, because Dr. Killery was on GMTV this morning. Now I don't watch him, but when he comes on now, I can't help but laugh at him, because he just looks so false and so smug. And he was saying that he said there's not a definite decision. He said, but put your name down for it. Put your name down. Your name should already be down. They've got all the records. So yeah, sometimes I just have to watch him just to see how evil and sick the man is.
He's actually very incestuous in, I think it's the PH one. I believe that he's very in with that company. Oh. I believe it's the PH one.
Yes.
Write the names on here, ladies and gents. Let's not get Lucy banned today. Thank you very much. I love you. Yes. Thank you. So I think let's move on from the old jibber jabber chat, because we would like it seems to consume us so much these days. But I think it's a really valuable point that we raised there with everybody. So Max, talk to me. How's your week been? How's the post office been? Everybody loves post office updates. Have we seen Copper Chris? Have we seen?
Yes, he came in. So no, Cougar hasn't been in this week. Copper Chris came in Thursday. Yeah. Now he did tell me something interesting. You just reminded me. So, you know, he's got his friend in the old top dogs, as I call them. Well, and he used to give me those time frames of when they were going to bombard.
Yeah.
Right, so in one of them, not the one where it was in the morning at Downing Street, it was one where they were walking through. I said it was quite dark. You weren't there. I think were you at Glastonbury? I think that one.
Yeah.
Some of them were not real police.
Oh, so were they actors or were they?
Joe Bloggs is all I get. Yeah.
Oh.
And he had to be careful because he's retiring. Because I wanted him to do a video with you, which he said, "Give me 3 months." He said, "I've got to get out first."
Yeah.
Yes, he said a lot of people. He said you'll notice if they came up to talk to you, the people in the background who were like this that's how they were told to act. The only real ones were the ones on horses, but there were lots of them. And he said some of them were actually, the film was shot for the news, they weren't real.
So let me just get, is he, as a policeman, not questioning, why the hell are you doing this?
Oh yeah, he is questioning it, but he's only got 3 months left to leave.
Yeah, I get that. And I'll be honest, I'd probably do the same. Well, I don't know what I'm like. I can't help myself. I just can't help myself. But
no, he's woken up to it, but he's got to hang on for that.
But what is, like, I just don't know if I could live with myself.
Yeah, he's struggling. He's really struggling because obviously he tells Chris these things, and I said, "How long have you known? Because you only tell me snippets." Surely that's the first thing he said. He said, "Well, he's been drip feeding me because he's too scared to say anything."
Of course.
Yeah.
This is what's awful, isn't it?
That's how bad it is.
People are fearful.
But like Chris said, he didn't join for this. He didn't join for any of this.
Yeah.
He joined because in Nottingham we used to have the tallest policeman ever. I think he was 6'8".
Random.
And he was so famous. Honestly, he was lovely. But he was the one that would clip you around your ear and send you home.
Oh.
Nobody got arrested. He just clipped around your ear and say, "Right, off you go." There was never any violence. And if two men were fighting, he'd go and stand in between them and say, "Right, who's first? Who wants to have a go at me first?" Because he was so tall.
Yeah.
And he's famous. I'll have to dig a picture out of him.
I do.
And Chris was saying that's who he aspired to.
Oh no.
That's it. Yeah. He aspired to him. And Dixon of Dock Green, which you won't ever remember, but anybody of my age will remember, it was on the TV in black and white. And he was the same. He'd clip around you and say, "Evening all." And he said, "That's what I aspired to. I just wanted to make sure that people had the right route to take. Nice. And if they were going down the wrong one, we could guide them to go around the right one." He said, "I didn't sign up for any of this stuff I'm doing now." And he's now been put in quite a rough area of Nottingham, which seems to be on the news every day. And he's dealing with, drug dealers, suicides, knife crime, which he said, it's there. He said, but I've never had to deal with as much in one small area as what I'm doing at the minute.
He's able to do his proper job, babe. Like, think of all those policemen and women out there that are, on CV control, patrol, more to the point. Like, what could you imagine? So, I don't know. I'm just bloody glad it was never my calling.
Yeah.
Because my dad's dad was a copper.
Right.
Yeah. So, and one of my cousins is quite senior in the police. Don't ask me questions on that. But he is. So, totally ingrained in this, I would imagine. I haven't seen or.
Well, I mean, I worked for CPS, didn't I? And that's when I saw what they were like. There was no way I was going into that profession ever.
But this is why you were there, babe, because you're going to help us break that system eventually.
Yeah, because I had to see it. Yeah, there are things I've had to see.
And I've had to deal with it firsthand, obviously, through my dad. And or secondhand, I guess, because it was my dad and then me. But I was literally alongside my dad the whole way. And I'm just disgusted. I'm disgusted. Yeah. So, but we're biding our time with that one. The systems will crumble, all of them. Every single system will crumble eventually. So, anything else to report? Any vibrations? Any nice smells?
No, we had this guy came in, and he's been a couple of times, and he's probably the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah, he is, honestly.
We need a photo. We need proof, don't we, ladies and gents?
I'll have to get the CCTV, but the picture will be a bit blurred because I have to stop at a certain bit. And the boss will wonder what the hell I'm doing. But he's just like, you know how you imagine in some love story, the guy that walks in. So he walked in and I jabber, yeah. Couldn't even get my words out. And we used to, can you remember those love heart sweets?
Yes.
Where you said, kiss me, love me.
I got given a pack recently.
Well, we've suddenly started selling them, and I was actually going to give them to him. That's how bad it was. Just I couldn't move. I was frozen to the spot. And he came in and he wants to bank some money. But he gave me like £50. Normally I count it properly, you know, slice the notes in half so he can see them. And I just went, okay. I didn't count it. And he said, I said, you can put your card in. So obviously I did the transaction. He went, are you going to count that? I went, no. And he went, are you all right? I went, no. But thank you for coming in. You've made my day. And then he came in a couple of days later. And I went, oh, I don't think I'm mentally prepared for this. And he said, I'm sorry, have I frightened you? I said, look, I've got to tell you, you are the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my entire life. And he said, oh, thanks, that's really nice of you. And I said, well, I'm sorry. I said, but I need a photograph of you to put on my bedroom wall. And he went, I'll see what I can do. But he was just, honestly, and I was just staring at him. If anybody else had come in, they would have gone, what is she doing? Couldn't even speak, couldn't count the money. I thought, you know what, if the money's wrong, I'll put the money in myself. I don't care. This is great.
It's a bit of eye candy. Do you know what? Ladies and gents, comment below if you think I should go to Maxine's shop one day, sit in there for the day, witness it all, film as much as possible. What do you think? Comment below if you think I should. Could you imagine what?
And you know, I've thought of that before. I've thought I need Lucy to be here just to see what happens on a day-to-day basis, because
I'd love it.
Honestly, it's hilarious.
I love it.
Everybody, people come in because they know they're going to laugh. If they're feeling miserable, they'll come in, even if they don't want anything. They come in just to say hello. And half the time, I'm standing in the door anyway, inviting them in. It's sort of a bit of a go-to. It's more a community centre than a shop.
Like a coffee shop, but without the coffee.
That's it. Yeah, we don't do coffee.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I love it, and I know everybody loves hearing your little stories about the post office. I want to give a little quick update to everybody, because I was really hoping that we might get one last video in with Don Dons before she actually leaves. But as you guys know, Donna next Tuesday, it's going to break my heart as she's leaving my business. She's retiring. But unfortunately,
we haven't got to next Tuesday yet, though, have we?
No. We'll see if she's better, bless her heart.
Let's just not do dates ever.
She'll be on there. Yes, I know. Don't. We're not allowed to talk about that date that I gave you. It's nothing, ladies and gents. It's just a bit naughty. That's all. So I just want to give you a quick update on Don Dons. Since we announced that she is leaving and she's not going to be on these videos anymore, she's actually had COVID. And her family have had COVID. So please, they're in week number 2 of it now. So please send all of your love and your energy and your healing powers and everything in the direction of Don Dons, because I'm sure at some point she will watch this video and she will be so grateful. So Don Dons, we're thinking about you. We love you. We hope you get better really, really soon. You can see I'm using my highlighter to make sure I cross everything off, because I've become really distracted and I don't get everything off my to-do list, so I have to literally tick it off as I go, otherwise it doesn't get done.
I live by lists.
Yeah, well, me too. And do you know what? I winged life for a very long time after I left being a project manager, and it didn't serve me at all. As soon as I went back to lists and organisation, my business boomed, everything boomed. But it kind of, because I'd quit my job, I was like, I don't need those skills. I don't need that. And actually, of course, I need those skills, especially with what's going on around the world at the moment. So let me give a quick update onto what has been going on with me in the last week, because although I did share it on Sunday service yesterday, I had the most incredible reading last Thursday, Max, and I know you and I haven't been able to speak about it. I had all of my favourite people there. My granddad, who awoken me, my dad's dad, who was my angel up until the point that my other granddad, I think my other granddad kind of popped him out the way, but he was my angel for a very long time. My nan on my mum's side, my nan on my dad's side, my best friends, who died in 2016. It was so beautiful. And my Uncle Michael came through, the one that died in April.
Oh, wow.
I said to her, I'm really gutted. I really hope my Uncle Michael would come through. And she was like, well, let's ask him and see if he can come through, even if it's just for a short period of time. And he did. He came through and gave some messages. which were very, very much required. Do you get what I mean? Like, I feel so privileged that I found somebody who could literally act like the telephone handle that I could speak to my granddad. You know,
Yeah.
Since the day he died in 2013, Maxine, and I'm sure you've got people like this, I've just wanted to speak to my granddad. I've just wanted to know if what I feel, like him awakening me, him, calling me to go to Thailand, me meeting the
Because it was all him, wasn't it? The whole thing was him.
That. And that's basically what he confirmed to me. He called me intuitively to Thailand, where I met Ricky, who has been a huge part of my life, and another girlfriend there as well, who I'm not that close to, but she was really important for that period of time. And then there was other things that came off the back of it. That friend called me to Australia, and then I met another friend who was extremely important in my life, getting me out of corporate. So all of these people have been massive pieces of the puzzle, and I've always thought that my intuition guided me. And my granddad actually said to me, "It is your intuition, Lucy. Every time you were a bit scared, I just pulled you a little bit. I just gave you that little nudge." And this woman didn't know me from Adam. I've just got goosebumps all over me. This woman didn't know me from Adam. She didn't know that I traveled. She didn't know the role that I did. And she actually really beautifully, Maxine, honestly, I got so emotional. She said to me, "Lucy, I'm not sure you're aware of quite how big the mission that you've got on this planet is." And I was like, "I've always thought that, but I thought it was, me being a bit egotistical or whatever." And she's like, "I don't think you have any idea what's ahead for you." She's like, "You're going to change the course of humanity." And
But she's not the first person to say how big it is.
I know.
That's literally just popped into my head when you said those words. I thought, oh, we've had this before, and I think it's twice now.
So,
but didn't one person say that you're going to start on this mission, but it's temporary because the bigger one is going to start showing itself, and it's so massive, even you will be shocked at how big it is.
Yeah, and basically it was a lady in Sydney, Australia. I think she's in New South Wales. I keep saying Sydney, Australia, just because that's obviously where my go-to is. But I think actually she was more towards Byron Bay, but in New South Wales. And she said to me, "You're being led down one path right now to basically activate you." And this is what my granddad said. He basically said, "I knew I could get your attention with the children, so I had to take you down the route of the children, but there is nobody else on this planet that cares about humans more than you do."
Yeah.
And Max, you've seen me in action. I take it all on. I get so freaking emotional about it. I literally want the best for everybody. I really, really, and I mean genuinely from my heart. I cry with people. Like, I watch a freaking movie these days and I blub like a baby when, like, I can see that there's some kind of ascension or something like that that's taking place. Like, I can have a phone conversation with my girlfriends and end up in floods of tears because I can hear them in their voice and I can feel it in their energy field that they're getting it, that they're starting to ascend.
And that's what I'm getting. That's what I've been getting over the last year more than anything, is friends who, to be fair, I'd spoken to before, they didn't want to change, but I can see them changing, even just minor steps, but I can tell in their voice that they're not, the anger's worn away, the ego seems to have gone down a bit, and they're giving out more love, even in just some of the words they use. And I get so emotional when I see my friends doing it. And, they go, "What are you crying for?" I say, just love you, because I can't actually explain to them why, because I don't want them to flip back and go, "Oh, for God's sake."
Yeah.
Which is what they because that's what it used to be like.
It's a fine line with people, babe. It really, really is. Sometimes I could be like, "Oh, Max, I'm so proud of you," and you'd be like, "Fuck you," and almost get back into your old version. And we don't want that for people. But
I stopped that a while ago, didn't I? I flipped a few times.
But this is what's important right now. It's about all of us just surrendering and saying, "Do you know what? I trust all of this." And like I've been saying to you all the way through, I trust wherever I end up, I'm meant to be there. Whatever I end up with, like, when I had the virus a month or so ago now. By the way, I still haven't had a period.
Oh my God.
Still haven't had a period. But at the moment, I feel like I'm going to come on my period. Sorry, boys. But
Keep us posted.
I don't know. I've got some. I'm actually having. Sorry, we are literally just having a chat like we're friends now, because we are friends, obviously. But let's just go there. So I've organised some hormone balance tests. So I'm going for some blood tests, not at a doctor's. Oh, Max, you frozen? Oh no, it's you. Yeah, I'm going for some hormone balancing tests just to make sure that everything's working okay. I've got a naturopath appointment booked. So once the bloods are in, I can take the results to my naturopath and just basically say, right, what can we do about this? I've also got acupuncture and a Chinese herbalist. So that's the intuitive, what I've been guided to do with this. The medium turned around to me and she went, what's going on with your womb? And I went, well, other than not having a period last month, nothing. And she said, oh, I see a blockage. I see a blockage in one of your tubes or something. She said, but it's all going to be sorted. Don't worry about it. She said, but you might need some sort of medical intervention with it. So don't put that off. So of course I'm going to go the holistic route. But if it's still, you know, depending on what these blood tests say, I'm just going to, I will go to the doctor, because, you know, I do not really like that route, but I have to go that route, I will go that route, you know, and let's just be honest about it. So, but I need to know what the problem is first.
Yeah.
You know, so it might mean the doctor having to send me for a scan so that I know what's going to happen, you know, but maybe these hormone balancing tests will give me all the answers that I need. I don't know. I'm just open. And to be honest, I'll just pay for a private scan. The way that I'm feeling at the moment, I've got a mercury filling at the back of my mouth here. And I've been thinking about it for such a long time about getting it taken out, because it doesn't, you know, mercury, that amount in your mouth, because it's quite a big filling at the back here. And I've made the decision that I'm going to get it done in the next few weeks. It's going to be taken out and replaced with something, obviously, that's not quite as dangerous.
My dentist has offered to do mine.
Oh, good for you.
How strange you just said that, because when I went to the dentist last time, because mine's quite a big one.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, you've still got that in there. She said, I keep meaning to say we need to take that out. I said, brilliant. When can you do it? So I'm not due until the end of October, but she's got it down, because obviously she has to limit at the moment how long you're there.
Are you Max?
What, sorry?
Private dentist or NHS?
No, NHS. But I've got an amazing dentist. She's on my
private.
Oh, well, she's on my wavelength.
Yeah.
She's on my wavelength. She loves me going in.
Because
she actually, it's supposed to be a 15-minute appointment. I get half an hour because she's laughing. She can't deal with my teeth. Yeah. Because and her assistant, if there's a new assistant, she always says, right, this is Maxine, just be prepared. You may wet yourself. And I go, what do you mean? Yeah. So I'm booked in end of October. So when she does, because she needs to sort out my wisdom tooth at the back, and she's going to take that out.
Yeah. So like, I have to have it done private because they won't touch it on the NHS.
No, you see, if we didn't have such a good relationship, she wouldn't have taken that out.
No.
But it's just because we talk about the truth and everything else over the last few years. She's sort of come around to it, so she's quite happy to take it out for me.
Yeah, no, that's good, because you have to be really careful when you remove mercury. Like, you really have to be careful. They have to have things set up properly, and all the rest of it is quite a big deal. So yeah, I've made the decision that I'm going to do it. It's the only one that I've got, I believe, in my mouth. So I just need to get it taken out. It doesn't resonate with me, and I'm like, you know, just, I don't know, there's just something in me at the moment that I'm like, I just need to get everything cleansed and get ready.
Cleanse it, yeah.
It literally, I'm like, I don't care. I mean, it's going to cost me a fortune to get it done, but do you know what? I'll take it. I'd rather spend the money on that than some other crap. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my update. I had an amazing reading with this lady. My best friend came through. It really warmed my heart. My uncle came through and gave me some really important messages. My granddad kicked my mum's bottom, saying, get her to the bloody doctors and stuff. And I was like, yeah, you go, granddad. So I called my mum up and I'm like, you can't lie to me anymore. Everything I've been psychically getting, granddad's just confirmed to me. She's like, oh, you annoy me so much. I'm like, get me to the doctor. You know, because every time I see her, I'm like, Mum, I keep getting this download and I keep being shown this and I keep being shown that. She's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And now my granddad said it. She's like, ugh.
Yeah.
She was like the apple of my granddad's eye. Do you get what I mean? And then it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just amazing. Anyway, Maxine and I mentioned it earlier, but we're going to mention it again now. We're writing books. So as you guys know, I have so many of you asking, when is your story going to be available, Lucy? When is your book going to be ready? When I get into my new place, and this isn't an excuse, it's been very challenging having all of my books and my paperwork when I'm moving around as much as I have done this year. Like I've been in, I think, 5 or 6 houses this year. I mean, who does that?
Easily.
One of my girlfriends did a post on Facebook the other day and it said, oh, most people have lived in 11 houses in their lifetime. You know, and she made some comment and I'm like, I've had 6 this year.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, Lucy, you're such a wanderer. Like, you're never going to change, but it's true. So,
well, we just never know where you're going to be.
Oh, mate.
We check the background to see if it's a totally different house.
This woman even said to me, I'm not sure that's going to go through on the 3rd of September. I'm like, hey, give me a break. Just give me, even if it's a month, like 6 weeks, just give me a little bit of peace, please. I just need the security and a bit of downtime for a while. So when I get in there, I am going to pick up I was going to say pick up my pen, but I actually tap it on my laptop. But I'm going to start writing my book again and aim to get that finished ASAP. The most beautiful thing about it is Maxine is also going to document everything that I've ever predicted. So there's going to be some really, really, really cool stuff coming out of here. There will be my autobiography. There will be the awakening journey that my granddad put me on. There will be what I don't even remember what I call it now. Maybe that's the awakening. I think the book with my granddad, I refer to as the beginning because it was the beginning. Yeah. My Guatemala journey is going to be written in a book as well, which is like what I say is the awakening journey. Even though I was awake before then, it was just unbelievable. That if you haven't watched it, I've got the video on YouTube. Go to the insights and it is in there. It will blow your freaking doors off. But obviously, when I write it, there will be much more intricate details. And this is the one that people have actually approached me about turning into a film. So it's going to be a biggie. And then I'm going to make sure that all of the other stuff, like I would like to write a book on twin flames. I think it's really important, you know, on intuitive travel. Like I just have about 25 million books inside of me that are going to come out. And Maxine is obviously going to help me, which is exciting, Max, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be great. It's actually fun looking back on what I've written.
Yeah. And
because so much has happened, but there's so much still hasn't happened from things you said 2 or 3 years ago. They're there, little snippets of it have happened, but it hasn't gone full scale. Which is why every day with you is just such an adventure. So every single day.
We are going to be meeting up when I'm in my new apartment. You're going to come down, aren't you? We're going to spend a couple of days going through it all, obviously having lots of fun and laughing and probably pissing ourselves. You know, but we're going to have lots of fun. We're going to go through it all. We're going to make sure, you know, that the information is there so that we can get it in. And what's so beautiful is this morning, I was chatting to one of my followers and who's become a really good friend of mine, and she just said to me, the thing is with you, Lucy, is you more often than not end up being right. These predictions that you just throw out there and you don't even mean to throw them out there, you know, more often than not, they come true. It might not be in the timescales, but more often than not. And that's all I can hope for.
But sometimes you say things that, as you're talking, are not a prediction. You're not predicting them. You're just mentioning something. I jot it down and it becomes something that happens. And I go, oh, for God's sake, she didn't even predict that. That was just in general bloody conversation.
Yeah, but that's when you know I'm being channeled.
Yeah.
That's when I'm being channeled, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I know what I know. Like I've got no clue. I don't do it from here. I do it from my heart and my gut. It just all comes up, and I don't know where or how, but I trust.
But it's like these videos. We start off with what we're going to say. We never do. Never. There is no schedule. We just come on and go, what are we talking about? Well, we'll mention that. And then that's it. The next hour is whatever comes out.
And, you know, a lot of people are so organised with this. I have to be intuitive because if I get a download, I have to go off on little tangents and I have to just allow the flow.
But it's like, don't you think we've lived by schedules for so long? Yeah. I mean, I certainly have in my jobs that I don't want them anymore. Do you know what I mean? I want to be intuitive and I want random things to happen. Yeah. So it's like when I come off here, I have to go and sit down for 5 minutes because I end up laughing my head off that we didn't mention anything we said we were going to even talk about. But it was great. And it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours for us, because obviously we're nattering as well. But it would be so boring if we went, right, we're going to talk about that, we're going to talk about that, talk about that, and we stuck to it. People would switch off. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's amazingly great crazy.
And you know that you're in the right company when you can just go on and like, I don't ever, I mean, I love being in silence, as you know. You've met me in person, and you know what I'm like. I love having silence. But when I'm conversating with somebody, it's just, it goes all over the place. There's never, I'm not even sure stories get to the end. Do you get what I mean? Because we just go off on so many tangents and it's just beautiful. It's just so intuitive and so alive.
Yeah.
And I think
it's
now,
real.
Yeah.
It's real.
Exactly.
It's how my idea of real would be.
Yeah.
Because obviously my ideas about life are totally different to what they were 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, I was in the damn matrix.
Yeah, and I feel that this is what this is about. Like, we're almost going through our same-sex relationships, so that when we get into a relationship with whoever, whether it's a man or a woman, we can actually recognize that that's what we want. You know, I'm going to perhaps give a little bit too much information here, but so many men are trying to chat me up at the moment, like literally, and we haven't spoken about dating in ages, Max, have we? But
no,
so many men are chatting me up right now, and they can be the hottest man on the planet, right? Really, really gorgeous, and trust me, I attract really, really, really beautiful men. But if they can't hold a conversation with me, it's just a no-go.
Finished. Yeah.
You know, and
it's finished before it started.
Things or whatever, but there has to be common ground. And we have to be able to conversate. Like, anybody that just goes, oh, you're just so sexy, and you're just so this, and you're just so that, you're not my cup of tea.
But that was like, you remember the Italian guy who was beautiful, and we had a nice conversation. And then I heard him talking to a friend in a totally different way. You know, your cocky teenager. That's what he reminded me of, even though he's the same age as me. And I just went, I don't want that in my life. You know, you were great when we were actually having a chat, but if that's what I'm going to end up with now, I don't really want to be a part of it.
Yeah. And
you know, it was like Idiot's Guide to, you know, and I know that was a sign. That was to say to me, Maxine, don't bother wasting your time, because the next guy could be absolutely amazing.
What they would call that is a red flag, right? But most people ignore it. Oh no, I've just misheard it, or whatever. And most people, I mean, I'm open to, you know, getting to know somebody. I really, really am. But I do think that, you know, pretty instinctively the kind of person that person's going to be.
Yeah.
You know?
And so whoever he'd been to me, although I must admit, probably the second conversation I had with him, there was a little bit of a flag, but I thought that was the mood I was in that day, because I was quite busy. But then when I heard him actually speaking, I went, oh no, I wasn't wrong then. It was right. But imagine going with somebody, you know, you've been out on a few dates and you're sort of just getting into that whole, I actually really like him. And then you find out.
Yeah.
So I was quite lucky that I got the red flag pretty early on.
Yeah.
That he was an idiot, basically. I haven't seen him since, to be fair. So that's what chicken shit he was.
Yeah, right. So I feel at the moment, this is what is happening. Like, we need to be on our game, so that we hear and we see things. And if we hear and see things that we do not like, we either bring it up into that person's consciousness so they can make a decision whether they want to change it or not. Or you have to decide, is this something I'm prepared to put up with or not? Like, for me right now, I am really, 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 and I'm going to use the word struggling, because you guys will get it. In fact, no, let me change that. I really dislike loud noises.
Yeah.
I really dislike people that want to shout really loudly or have their music really loud. Like, I just dislike that right now. You know, I used to.
You wouldn't cope 2 minutes in my house this week then.
No,
I've got dogs barking. I've got Connor running up and down the stairs. His mum's just arrived. She's making loads of noise. I've had to say, oh, volume, turn it down.
Yeah. But
they'll be gone in about an hour's time, and then I'll get my peace.
Yeah, I'm just at the point where I'm like, I just need some. I really enjoy the quiet, and if the noise is only like that every now and again, I'm good with it, babe. Do you get what
Yeah.
I love it. I love dancing around with the girls when they're here and having the music cranked up.
You see, that's how I am, because I've only got this now until the kids go back to school, which is what, next week? Yeah, a week on Wednesday. So I'm making the most of the noise, because when they go back, it will be silent. It'd be great for me because I can meditate in the afternoon, because that's a bit of a struggle at the moment. I nip out at 10 o'clock at night and sit in my car to meditate because the house is still buzzing. But the dogs go home tomorrow because their mum's back. But they've been great. They've actually been a really good distraction, because obviously I lost my dog in March. Not ready to get another one. But these two little beans, honestly, have just been hilarious.
Oh, that's nice.
They're so tiny. In fact, they're laying on my bed now and they're just sprawled out. They're so chilled. But she's trained them so well that, you know, you can let them out to go, and you say, go for a wee then. And they literally go and have a wee. They wipe their paws before they come in the house. They do tricks. You know, when you say it's bedtime, they go to bed. So, but it's like having kids, because they have to literally lay on me. So I've got one literally laying next to me, and the other one's decided to move over there because it's a bit warm.
Yeah.
But I couldn't have this full time.
No.
Because there's no break from it.
Yeah, exactly.
And plus, I don't know where I'm going to be, because Sophie keeps saying, can we have another dog? And I've said, no, you can play with these two, because we've had them over the last 5 weeks. We've had them most of the time. And I said, you can play with these. I said, if you want a dog in your own house, you can have one. But I'm not having one because I might not be in this country next year. Yeah. I don't see me being in this country for much longer.
Yeah. Well, this lady told me I'm going to be getting on a plane at the end of October, beginning of November.
Yeah, you see, it doesn't surprise me at all. Not at all. October. We're here October again.
And actually, my American visa got approved today.
No. Yeah. Well, don't forget, the bank's October. 23rd October, end of October, beginning of November. There you go. Yeah, it all falls in, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. October was going to be a big month.
Right, well, we better get this apartment. I better get down there, get this booked in before you start flying off.
I know, mate. I know. And I need to get this bloody book written. I need to get this bloody book written before I get on a plane again. Otherwise, there's no hope. You know, absolutely no hope whatsoever. Oh my God, Maxine, it's been amazing. It's been so lovely.
It's fun.
Especially when we ain't got nothing to talk about today. Here we are. So we've just put the absolute world to rights. I don't even remember what we spoke about, but it was amazing. Anyway.
It was good.
Maxine, thank you, my darling, for always being here and supporting. Ladies and gents, we are still in the powerful energies of the full moon. If you want to go and do the full moon ritual that I channeled, link is going to be above here now. Go watch it. It's only about 10-11 minutes long. It will change your absolute life. We will see you next week. Mwah. Lots of love. Have the most beautiful week, guys. Take care.